Hey, it's 3-ish on a Tuesday. It's probably about 5 after by now, right? We've got a little late start here.
Blame the weather.
That's right. We blame the weather on everything. Randy Wallace at Fox 26. You are watching the live stream behind Breaking Bond. Get prepared for another riveting episode. Joining me is...
Hey, Andy Kahn, Director of Victim Services, Crime Stoppers of Houston. Real quickly, neither rain nor sleet nor snow stops Breaking Bond live stream.
That's correct. That's right. Also joining me is this young man.
I'm Doug Griffith. I'm the president of the Houston Police Officers Union.
Yes, you are. We want to start out talking about last week's Breaking Bond. It really took off.
Remember when you and I looked at each other and we went, $1 bond? And we looked at each other and went, this story's going viral and national.
And it did.
Little did we know that this would take off, but and rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to believe. You had Aubrey Taylor. How old was Aubrey Taylor? He was 40.
Or
yeah,
like that.
He's basically out on bond for domestic.
He was on bond for aggravated kidnapping and assault with intent to impede breathing. He was got $1 bond for each of those felonies, and he previously has 8 prior felony convictions.
And he could
been
not
in prison twice.
And he's ineligible for a personal reconnaissance
Can't
bond.
get a PR bond, so it was fairly obvious by the language that was in the documents, because I've never seen it, you've never seen it, and I look through these things daily, that this particular judge was trying to send a message, and the message was, okay, Senate Bill 6 says I can't give a PR bond. Okay, I won't give a PR bond. I'll do the next best thing, $1.
And Judge Josh Hill, even admitted in court on the bench that was his reason for giving $1 bond. Well, the whole thing went awry, to say the least. Mr. Taylor allegedly violated the terms of his bond, right?
3 days after.
3 days after. He goes back to the same woman. He's basically terrorizing the woman he was in jail for on the other charges. Picks up new felony charges and will appear before Judge Josh Hill tomorrow morning, or he's scheduled to. Doug, what's your take on this $1 bond?
This is just, I like to call him dishonorable Judge Hill. He is the same one that got on TV and lied to the citizens of Houston saying, oh, I have to give them a bond. Every case that comes before me, I have to give a bond. That is completely inaccurate. Yes, the initial bond you have to give. You can set it as high as you want. There's nothing on that. But what he also had failed to tell everybody is once that individual violates that bond, he don't have to give another one.
Right.
He can stop it right there.
Yes.
But he chooses not to because of his own agenda. Again, he is a disgrace to the robe. We need to find a way to hold judges accountable. Right now, they have complete, absolute immunity. Everybody talks about law enforcement and our qualified immunity. Oh, that needs to go away. Well, how about doing something about these judges that have complete immunity?
They basically answer to no one.
You can file a complaint with the bar.
Right.
And what's going to happen? More judges are going to look at that and go, it's his right to do that. Yeah.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the individual just got out and he went right back to the lady that he assaulted.
I mean, thank God the woman wasn't killed. I mean, we've seen that in other instances.
Seen that in a lot of cases.
Sadly, where a defendant that's on bond for some sort of domestic violence charge gets out of jail and then goes back and kills the woman, kills the person that he was violent to before. What's her name? That was here last week.
Emily.
Yeah. Emily DeToto made a perfect example when she was talking about that. I mean, think about it. Who is the person that you're angriest with, right? The person, you're the reason that I'm sitting in jail. Well, the minute I get out of jail, I'm going to come to you, right? I mean,
and he supposedly did.
Yes.
He did that.
So we'll see what happens, what Judge Josh Hill decides to do tomorrow morning.
About this particular judge, because you had the extremely high profile murder of the rapper Takeoff.
Right.
Which was also in his court.
$1 million bond, he sets.
You got $1 million now.
2 at first.
That's correct. Thank you, Raymond.
2 million to 1 million, and this guy had no prior criminal history.
Right,
0. But I guess because the entire planet was watching
right.
this case, and that just goes to the adage. I mean, obviously this was just supposed to slip through, and nobody was supposed to pick up on it, but you couldn't do that in the other case. So, and that's why I brought up, kind of the point. If I've got if I'm a defense attorney and I got an offender in his court who's currently in custody because he can't make a bond and he's charged with a violent offense, and I see
Where's
this,
my dollar bond?
I see this,
Yeah.
I'm going, hey,
Yeah. If
fair
we want to
play.
be fair, why doesn't everybody with a violent offense get a dollar bond?
Well, this is what I have a problem with. We go out there and we try to enforce the laws that we have on the books. We have a guy like this that commits this crime. We have witnesses and we have complainants, and we try to tell them, hey, look, or before we could put them in jail and say, hey, we need your testimony. They're not going to mess with you. They're not going to get out anytime
You're
soon.
safe.
You're safe. We can't say that anymore.
No.
We have to tell people the straight out truth. Hey, look, if this guy gets out and harasses you, you need to call us immediately, because he's going to get out.
Right.
We all know what's going to happen. He or she is going to get out. And in this case, a dollar bond.
And I've talked with, and as you and I have talked, I've talked to domestic violence organizations and advocates, and that was the primary concern that they have is for the clients they deal with, and they see this and they're going to go, why should I come forward?
Right.
Right.
Why am I going to put myself at a risk? You're just going to release them again. That's the domino effect this has on that type of victimization.
And they wonder why we can't get, cooperation from the public.
Right.
Well, that's it right there.
Yeah.
I mean, are you really you saw a murder happen and you're going to say,
Yeah.
hey,
I'm
wait a minute. How
Yeah,
many
I'm
capital
going
murder
to rat
suspects do I have
Raymond
on
out,
bonds?
and then Raymond's going to get out, and
Right. You can make sure there
Pulverize
is no
me.
witness.
that's right.
There will not be a
And we've
witness.
seen that too, where they're out on bond and they go after the witness. I mean, think about it. You're kind of like, well, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to get out of this mess, so I'll go get rid of the witness.
We had that happen, that a female did that. I can't remember her name, but she did that. She got out of jail, went and tried to kill the witness.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do something. We have to figure out a way to keep these people locked up. And right now, our judges don't care to do that.
I think it's part of this whole kind of new thinking of let's sort of decriminalize everything, and right. I mean, we keep hearing more about the true victim, if you will, is the perpetrator. And let's focus on that and let's fix them. And then we're not going to have prisons, and then we're not going to have to worry about crime anymore. That's never, ever going to happen.
You were going to make a point, which obviously in this particular case, the 232nd was making a point. You would think you would want to make a statement on a guy with a lesser criminal history.
Right. Yeah.
Honest. So with somebody who hadn't any prior offenses, if you want to make a point that I need to get you out, I can't do it. But someone with 8 priors who's been to prison twice for robbery, that's not the case you want to.
You were saying when we were talking about last week, and we were sitting down talking about the story, that was the point that you made. You were like, he couldn't have picked a worse person as an example. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's true. I mean,
Obviously, his judgment is not the greatest.
You're talking about somebody that, I mean, Aubrey Taylor's in his 40s, and he's pretty much spent his adult life in and out of prison. That's not me saying that or accusing him of that. It's in black and white.
I mean, I'm looking at these. The Governor Abbott has sent out at least 3 or 4 tweets.
Yeah.
All on this. I mean, you look at it right here. This is completely, so you have the governor weighing in
Yeah.
on this, saying they're going to end this session. So it's going to be very interesting to see what comes as a result of this. So kind of in an oxymoronic fashion, you might have been trying to make a point, but this actually might come back and bite you.
Yeah, right.
Because
Yeah.
you might have actually crafted or created new legislation so that you can't get minuscule bonds for defendants charged with violent crimes.
To me, it sends kind of a bad message too when you work in the criminal justice system and then you do things to circumvent the law. Okay, you're not breaking the law. It's not illegal to do that. It's just, That's troubling to me that well, I'll show them. They said I can't do a PR bond. I'll make it $1.
Well, I just got a call today on the same judge about, oh, there's no PC in this case. We're going to let it go. But it's funny, two guys get arrested on the same scene. One's out of bond on a different court. So he goes back to that court for that one, and this guy has it in this court. The other one found probable cause, but he didn't. No, let me tell you something. Judge Hill, you, sir, are a disgrace. Your days are numbered on the bench. We will find someone to run against you to get you out of your position one way or another. You are horrible for the citizens of Harris County, and they deserve better than your propaganda.
But it's 4 years away.
Good. It gives me plenty of time to find somebody good.
I mean, it's one of those things too. I still, I'll do these breaking bond stories, and then people will, well, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? We told you what you needed to do in November. You needed to go vote. All of these judges that we repeatedly profiled about letting violent offenders out of jail on minuscule bonds, multiple bonds, they were reelected. They're sitting on the bench. Going into it, the primary was crazy, wasn't it? It was like some of them lost the primary, but then you get to the general election, and I think that probably, I'll give Judge Josh Hill this much. Yeah, the voters put you back in there. They sure did. But are they going to want to keep you there if you give violent offenders $1 bonds?
No. I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
And it's what I find funny about all of this is the fact that even the Democratic Party realized that they had a problem in their own house when you primary 5 judges.
Yeah.
And so they realized there was a problem. So they cut the weak ones.
Yeah.
Now, they've got these judges reelected. That's good. But they really need to pay attention to their base, because at the end of the day, crooks don't care if you're Democrat or Republican.
That's right.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They are going to victimize whoever they can. And so at some point, everyone's going to get tired of it. Everybody's going to get tired of seeing these numbers on TV. They're going to get tired of being victimized. They're going to get tired of having their houses broken into, their cars broken into, being assaulted for no apparent reason other than being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I mean, you saw in the news in the last few weeks, you had a lot of the bar owners that are now sleeping in their bar because
repeatedly
they're
getting
getting broken into. And then I'm kind of, you know what? Even if the person was caught, what would happen?
Yeah, nothing.
You're going to see more and more of the incidents where people are taking the law into their own hands. The guy that shot at the burglar in his neighbor's house, the guy that shot the robbery suspect inside the taqueria.
Yeah.
We're going to see more and more of that. Business owners are tired of it. They're going to sit in there and they are going to shoot people that come in their business.
There was one happened the other day where the son of a mother who was abused by her ex went out and shot and killed him at the house.
People are going to get tired of being victimized or seeing their loved ones victimized, and they're going to take the law in their own hands. And I blame every single bit on it on our judges. Every bit of it. They're not doing their job. Their one job is to keep the citizens of Harris County safe, and they refuse to do so.
And well, you go back to Aubrey Taylor. I mean, was the community safe by saying, okay, you got a buck, you get out of jail? His victim wasn't safe.
That was fairly obvious within a matter. It didn't take long before we were doing follow-ups on this case. So I just, again, the message that gets sent is that we're more concerned with the perpetrator, the offender, than we are with the safety of the public, and in cases where there's an actual victim itself, with the victim itself. And your primary purpose is to make sure of the safety of the public and the safety of the victim. And obviously, in this case, that was not the primary purpose. And
again, there's a one particular court that's operating right now where they send people that, okay, so-and-so's got a drug issue, or, they don't have this lengthy criminal past. We can probably get this person out of the system. That's great. You can get people out of the system. Another thing that drives me crazy is people will come up to me and say, you just don't think anybody deserves a second chance. I sure do, but I don't think somebody deserves a 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, right?
Correct.
I mean, come on. It's like you just get to the point where some people are not going to change.
I remember when we did the story on the guy that was on bond for 12 aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon, all convenience stores. And I remember saying with a very straight face, dude, you're not very good at this because you keep getting caught. And second, I said, but think about it. In order to rack up 12 charges, you got to be out here
Yeah.
to
How
do
many-
it able to do
every
it.
time. And
Yeah.
I'm going, it's fairly obvious that this person wasn't going to do it. You can't keep, you say, you know what, on the third, fourth, fifth, whatever time, that this isn't working out for you, dude.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Crooks choose to be crooks.
Right,
They choose to violate the law. The people that aren't choosing this are the victims.
right.
I didn't choose to go out and get robbed. I didn't choose to get my house burglarized, my car burglarized, or anything else. That is some thug that went out there and stole my stuff or assaulted my family member or whatever, name the crime. They choose to do it. That's why we have in the pleadings intentionally, knowingly.
Yeah,
They intentionally, knowingly committed a crime.
right.
I didn't intentionally, knowingly become a victim.
The majority of people, we go to work every day to keep a roof over our head and food in our stomach and pay the bills and pay taxes. I mean, that's what the 90% of people do.
I can't imagine how frustrating that must be for police officers.
I don't know.
You would not believe.
Cannot.
You would not believe that because again, they'll call me and say, "Hey, what can we do about this?" The best we can do is file a bar complaint.
Yeah,
They have immunity. They can do whatever they want. Dollar bond? Hey, we'll give them all a dollar bond. They can do that. And is it legal? Yes. Is it right? No.
That's why I said and I got asked, and I'm sure you did on this particular case, well, can't we? No, I said, there's nothing, he did not violate any statute. There was no
right.
violation
Yeah, he
of
did not. He
anything.
did not.
It's a philosophical.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's a true right or wrong issue. True right or wrong
exactly.
issue.
Yeah, it's circumventing the law. And again, it bothers me that someone that is a judge would knowingly circumvent the law. And they're doing that for somebody that went to prison twice for robbing people. He's accused of assaulting a woman. It kind of goes back to what you were talking about before. Judge Hill seems to be one of these where it's like, well, let me just sit here and try the case and I'll be the jury and I'll decide whether or not so-and-so's innocent or so-and-so is credible or so-and-so is believable. Because in the hearing, he seemed to kind of zone in on, there were instances where the woman, her credibility came into question. And, the defense was bringing this up and he was kind of like riding that ride with him. And I'm thinking, isn't that what a trial is for? Isn't that what you're going to do later on?
They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
People will sit there and watch. And maybe that's what it's going to come down to. Maybe we need people to just go to court and watch these judges.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what they do every day. Just get some knowledge on each judge. If we pack the courtrooms like we used to be able to do, just go and sit in there and watch a trial, maybe that would cause them to change.
And anybody can do that. Everybody has the right to go sit in any courtroom they want to
Except
and
for
listen.
Fox 26.
Right. I'm not allowed at court.
Weren't you guys, they were kind of leery about you guys going in there?
Yeah. There was a question about
Right.
letting us in for that particular hearing. And my shift, I work 1:30 in the afternoon until 10 o'clock at night. I won't be there tomorrow morning because I don't work at 9 o'clock in the morning. My work day starts at 1:30. So Judge Josh Hill, if you're watching, I won't be there, but you allowed us in. Thank you for that. You allowed our camera in. You also allowed another TV station to be present. I have a feeling that we'll be back and probably one or two other stations might be there as well. But I do appreciate the fact that you are a judge that will allow a camera in your courtroom. I think every judge should allow that. Why not? What are you doing in there that shouldn't be on video, right?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, I'll give him this. Maybe he needs to be better off on his own show. Judge Josh.
I tell you what, he can come on here to the behind breaking bond.
And that's really all we set for is explain and justify.
Yes.
And I'd love to hear why you thought this was the rational, logical thing to do with this particular defendant, with that particular history. Explain to the public why you thought it was in the best interest.
I'd like him to explain it to the complainant.
Yeah,
I mean, if I'm the one that got beat up, I'd like to know, why'd you do that?
I mean, obviously, you know, Judge Josh Hill and other judges that are on the bench, these are intelligent people. They've gone to law school. They know about the law. And yeah, I mean, from his perspective, maybe there is a good reason to give someone like Mr. Taylor a PR bond. I mean, I'm sorry, a dollar bond. And yeah, we'd love for you to come on here and explain that, because you got every right to do that. You could come on here and sit right where Doug is sitting, and I will not bother you in any way.
Let you speak.
That's right. Do I bother you when you come on?
I'll be more than glad to sit here and listen to
Positive
it.
note, man, I've been holding this $2 bill, and you guys were wondering why I had a $2 bill, and frankly,
I thought
so
you went to
was
C&D.
And this was, I doubled it. This was why, for this very instance, because it was $2 for him to get out on bonds.
You'll hardly see those anymore.
I know, but
I
obviously.
collect them.
Do you really?
I try.
See, you
Yeah.
could have used it for this.
Yeah.
We could
Yes.
have all taken $2 bills.
I know, right?
That's true, see?
I'll bring you one.
Thank you
this
so
guy,
much.
This guy tonight.
Yes.
We're doing tonight.
We are tired of the judges who are letting dangerous criminals walk free on the streets. This has to stop.
We agree.
Yep. And that's why we're going to keep doing this until things change. And you brought up tonight's, what are we at now? What's the 187?
187, but I will say, and like we were talking about, our numbers that we documented for 2022
Are going down, yes.
And that tells me that what we've been doing is resonating and it's working, because we are not seeing the numbers of defendants who've been released on multiple felony bonds or PR bonds then getting charged with murder as we had the previous 2 years.
Right.
That's a positive.
Yes. And the defendant that we're featuring on tonight's breaking bond, it is troubling, because it's a situation where he's now accused of murder and he was out on multiple bonds, actually went to court, right? Went to court 3 days after he allegedly kills a pregnant woman. 3 days later, he's back in court for one of the charges that he's out on bond.
And he was on multiple bonds, and both of the offenses that he was out on bond for had to deal with catalytic converters.
Wow.
And now you got
Imagine
a would-be mother dead.
Be sure to tune in tonight, Fox 26 News at 9 for that breaking bond. Doug Griffith, always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much for watching this live stream. Wait,
No pleasure for Andy.
no. He kind of gets on my nerves.
I getting a $2 bill. I got a $2 bill.
No, of course. He's my bud. Thank you so much. And watch tonight at 9 and try to stay dry. The weather looks like it's getting a little better. Don't drive if you don't have to.
No, I'm gonna go play tennis.
Take
See
care.
ya.
Okay, bye.